From 1997 to 2007, Stargate SG-1 took audiences through the portals of space and captured the hearts of fans with its thrilling sci-fi adventures, but behind the scenes were mysterious real-life stories about its stars' addictions, on-set conflicts, and sudden heartbreaking deaths. Explore the journeys of the Stargate SG-1 cast and honor their legacy. Let's find out. Carmen Argenziano as Jacob Carter and Selmac Carmen. Antimo. Argenziano was born on October 27, 1943 in Sharon, Pennsylvania. He first appeared in Stargate SG-1 in 1998 at the age of 55 as Jacob Carter, a retired Air Force officer and devoted father of Samantha Carter, who later became the host of the Tok'ra Selmac. As a symbiotic creature who helps him prolong his life and fight for justice, the role left a lasting impression with its emotional depth, making Jacob Carter a beloved supporting character off-screen. Argenziano's life was darkly tinged with personal pain. He struggled with alcoholism for years, leading to a series of broken marriages and strained relationships with his children. The pressure to maintain his image as a solid actor, combined with roles that sometimes lacked breakthroughs, took a toll on his temperament. Colleagues recall that he would have heated arguments with directors and co-stars, especially when his roles were cut, revealing a vulnerable side to a seemingly strong performer. In his final years, a diagnosis of lung cancer took a heavy toll on Argenziano's spirit. He fought quietly, keeping his illness a secret so he could continue to appear in projects like House MD 2007 or a guest role on Criminal Minds 2009, trying to hold on to what little limelight he had left. On February 10, 2019, Carmen Argenziano breathed his last breath after a short time publicly, admitting to cancer, ending a challenging 75-year journey. His fortune is estimated at $3 million, mainly thanks to his efforts in more than 100 films and series like The Godfather Part 2 and Stargate SG-1. Don S. Davis as Major General George Hammond. Donald Sinclair. Davis was born on August 4, 1942 in Aurora, Missouri. He joined the Stargate SG-1 series in 1997 at the age of 55 and continued to play the role for 7 seasons as Major General George Hammond. He is the iconic commander of Stargate Command, a man of discipline and compassion for his subordinates, always on the front lines of the universe's dangers. It was Hammond's calmness and courage that elevated the image of the gentle Father General that audiences would never forget. However, behind the majestic scenes, Davis had to hide a psychological crisis due to his late start in the industry, always afraid that he would be forgotten by the younger and more talented cast. Tensions escalated when Davis began to smoke heavily and drink to relieve stress, leading to angry moments and heated arguments with the production crew about the direction of the script. Because of those insecurities, he went through a broken marriage and separation from his son Matt, carrying a pain that was hard to forget. Although he thought he had found joy again when he remarried Ruby Fleming in 2003, Davis still could not escape the shadow of his failing health as his heart and liver kept signaling danger. On late nights of filming, he had to hide his chest pain still, trying to complete the role of a strong General Hammond so as not to disappoint the audience. Finally, on June 29, 2008, Don S. Davis suddenly died of a massive heart attack, ending a turbulent life at the age of 65. His colleagues honored him by naming a battleship in the Stargate universe after the legendary general. The artist left behind a net worth of approximately $2 million, mainly from earnings from Stargate SG-1 and other television projects. Cliff Simon as Bale. Cliff Simon was born on September 7, 1962 in Johannesburg, South Africa. He made his Stargate SG-1 debut in 2001 at the age of 39, playing Bale, a cunning and charming system lord, who became the series' most memorable villain thanks to his menacing appearance and superior intellect. Bale not only haunted Stargate Command, but also gave the audience a profound image of a villain, a mixture of coldness and irresistible charm. Behind the scenes, Cliff Simon was an adventurous and melancholy soul, a top gymnast and swimmer. He was obsessed with greatness early on. His arrogance led him to reject more than one script, causing tension with producers, and rumors of a broken marriage to his wife Colette added to the dark, tragic side of his life. Industry insiders say Simon is not easy to get along with, harboring a lot of resentment towards Hollywood, and a sense of being constrained, which has made him increasingly isolated, despite trying other projects, such as NCIS or The Memoir. Paris Nights, My Year at the VOA, Moulin Rouge 2016 Cliff. Simon still cannot escape the shadow of the villain that has haunted him throughout his career. In 2019, he embarked on the documentary series Into the Unknown, traveling the world in search of answers to dark legends. But that adventurous spirit paid the price when a huge wave suddenly overtook him while kitesurfing at Topanga Beach, California on March 9, 2021, ending his short life at the age of 58. He leaves behind a modest net worth of about $15 million accumulated from various television roles and a book filled with memories of glamorous Paris. Isaac Hayes as Tolk. Isaac Lee Hayes Jr. was born on August 20, 1942 in Covington, Tennessee. He first appeared in Stargate SG-1 in 2005 at the age of 63. As Tolk, a brave Jaffa warrior who once led the righteous fight against Goa'uld domination, although only at the supporting character. Tolk still brings with him a strong, determined image, adding a diverse color to the Stargate world. But behind that image of success was a life rife with cracks and controversy. Hayes, the legendary stickman and fiery soul who captivated the world, was haunted by the scandals surrounding Scientology, leading to a bitter departure from South Park and a fractured relationship with the public. The pressures of fame combined with a simmering addiction to painkillers pushed him into a life of isolation away from the spotlight after decades of glory. Towards the end of his life, Isaac Hayes' health rapidly declined, the result of successive strokes that left him unable to return to the stage. On lonely nights, he was consumed with regret and loneliness as a genius who once held a musical empire in his hands, but could not save a broken family. After going through 3 divorces, 11 children, and countless grandchildren, leaving behind complicated inheritance issues, on August 10, 2008, just 10 days before his 66th birthday, Hayes was found unconscious on the floor next to a running treadmill and died of a recurrent stroke, ending his life at the age of 65. It is estimated that at the time of his death, Isaac Hayes left behind an estate worth around US $12 million, largely from his legendary music catalog, along with several television roles. Louis Gossit Jr. as Garak. Louis Cameron Gossit Jr. was born on May 27, 1936, in Brooklyn, New York. He joined Stargate SG-1 in 2005 at the age of 69, taking on the role of Garak, a powerful Jaffa leader with political ambitions, creating a memorable character in the Stargate universe with a tough, cold demeanor, but still holding on to his own ideals. The role was fueled by the same heroic spirit that propelled Gossit to the top of cinema with an Oscar for An Officer and a Gentleman in 1982. However, behind the spotlight, Louis Gossit Jr. faced countless difficulties. His career declined after the 1980s due to failed film projects and risky business ventures. All 3 marriages ended in divorce, leaving him with deep emotional scars, along with rumors of domestic violence that Gossit himself never officially acknowledged, but which still haunted his image for decades. Later, Louis Gossit Jr. gradually became more closed and silently fought a series of illnesses: diabetes, prostate cancer, and then COVID-19, which severely weakened his health in addition to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease that tormented his every breath. He rarely shared, choosing to endure and stay away from the media lens. However, for brief moments, one can still see the proud aura of an artist who once brought glory to African-American cinema. On March 29, 2024, Louis Gossit Jr. breathed his last breath at a rehabilitation center in Santa Monica, California, at the age of 87 after complications from lung disease. Combined with heart failure, his net worth at the time of his death was approximately $5 million, mainly from his origins, An Officer and a Gentleman, and other television roles. Amanda Tapping as Major Samantha Carter. Amanda Tapping was born on August 28, 1965, in Rochford, England. In 1997, at the age of 32, she played Major Samantha Carter in Stargate SG-1, a brilliant female scientist and brave military officer who made important contributions in leading missions through the Stargate. Carter not only brought cutting-edge quantum physics knowledge, but also served as a solid support for the SG-1 crew, helping the series leave a strong mark during its nearly decade on air. However, behind the spotlight, Tapping suffered a great psychological shock when she faced 8 miscarriages during her marriage to Alan Kovacs, which sometimes pushed her into depression and exhaustion at the height of her career. In the midst of stressful filming seasons, there were rumors that she was almost fired from Stargate Atlantis Season 5 due to salary disputes and disagreements with the producers, but she persisted in playing Carter despite the heavy pressure on her mind. The filming was also described as being so perfectionist that it became grueling, causing fatigue for the crew due to her meticulous attention to detail. This pressure also affected her marriage with rumors of a rift, although she and her husband eventually stayed together and raised their daughter. After gradually stepping away from acting, Amanda turned to directing on series such as Travelers, Anne with an E in Motherland Fort Salem, but maintained a special relationship with the Stargate fan community. Now 59, she lives a quiet life and only attends rare events mostly to share her expertise and spread stories of overcoming loss, with an estimated net worth of $5 million from Stargate SG-1 Sanctuary and her directing gigs. Amanda Tapping remains a stalwart of North American sci-fi. Christopher Judge as TLC. Christopher Judge was born on October 13, 1964 in Los Angeles. He has been the face of the warrior TLC on Stargate SG-1 since 1997 when he was 33 years old. In the series, Telic is a Jaffa warrior who once served the Gold but later became a loyal ally of Earth, calm, strong, and always sacrificing for the common good. This role made Judge an icon among science fiction fans. But behind the scenes, Judge's life was filled with equally harsh events. He struggled with painkiller addiction during the early stages of SG-1 to the point where he was nearly fired after constantly arguing with the producers about character development. His marriage also fell apart when his divorce from Margaret Judge was rumored to be due to infidelity and financial crisis, followed by a bitter custody battle that left Judge emotionally drained. Entering his role as Kratos in God of War, Judge faced tragedy again when a spinal injury sustained during a grueling recording session required a double hip replacement followed by back and knee surgery. The lengthy recovery process was physically and mentally taxing, forcing him to relearn how to work and train from virtually scratch. Now in his 60s, Christopher Judge continues to work tirelessly in the gaming and film industries while staying connected to the Stargate fan community. Despite battling chronic pain, he has maintained his passion and an estimated net worth of $4 million, the result of years of relentless and rigorous dedication both on set and in the recording studio. Mory Chaken as Nerys Mory Allen. Chaken was born on July 27, 1949 in New York. He made his Stargate SG-1 debut in 2005 at the age of 56, playing Nerys, a greedy, cunning, scary, and funny old Goa who tries to curry favor with the Stargate commander to further his own agenda. Chaken's cunning and greedy portrayal of Nerys has become a unique highlight among the series' other serious villains, affirming his unique versatility. Behind the spotlight, Chaken's life is full of brokenness. After his breakout role in 1994's Whale Music, for which he won a prestigious Genie Award, Mory's marriage began to unravel. His first marriage, too. Producer Ilana Frank ended quietly and painfully, and even when he remarried actress Susanna Hoffman, they were not without constant tension, despite having a young daughter to support him. Mory was plagued by loneliness, insecurity, and lingering emotional wounds that made him increasingly withdrawn. In his later years, he continued to devote himself to the screen with some uncomfortable roles in 2008, playing Sam Blecker, a clumsy and chaotic father, who was a loving but helpless reflection of his real life. Colleagues revealed that Chaken had a hot temper, was unpredictable, and often got into heated arguments on set which affected his working relationships and left him emotionally exhausted. On his 61st birthday, July 27, 2010, Mory Chaken died suddenly in Toronto from complications from a heart valve infection, closing a life full of turmoil and unfinished chapters. It is estimated that he left behind an estate worth about $2 million, a small sum compared to his talent and nearly 50 years of dedication. Richard Dean Anderson as Colonel Jack ONeal. Richard Dean Anderson was born on January 23, 1950, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. At the age of 47, he joined Stargate SG-1 in 1997 as Colonel Jack ONeal, replacing Kurt Russell, and quickly made the character an icon, a seasoned officer who was humorous, compassionate, yet tough and unruly. ONeal was both the leader and soul of the SG-1 team, bringing with him his military experience and personal pain from the loss of his family, making him a character with depth to the series. However, behind the scenes, Anderson suffered from chronic back pain and insomnia, which made him increasingly unstable. There were tense moments on set, when he forgot his lines, lost his temper, and even had heated arguments with the director, many times creating a rift in the production atmosphere of Stargate SG-1. His relationship with his longtime partner April Prose, the mother of his daughter, also became cold due to rumors that Anderson turned to alcohol to relieve stress. In the early 2000s, he suffered a mental breakdown, withdrew, and decided to leave the screen to spend time with his daughter Wiley, whom he called the only reason he was still alive. Richard moved to a secluded life in Malibu, avoiding any invitations to return, although he still occasionally appeared. At Stargate fan meetings as of 2025, Anderson 75 still maintains a private and low-key lifestyle, rarely interacting with the public, and has turned down any Stargate reboot projects. With an estimated net worth of $20 million from MacGyver's Stargate SG-1 and production deals, he is content to enjoy peaceful days with his daughter, closing the glorious yet turbulent journey of the American television legend, Willie Garson as Martin Lloyd. William Garson Passamont was born on February 20, 1964 in Highland Park, New Jersey. He began appearing on Stargate SG-1 in 2000, at the age of 36, playing Martin Lloyd, a humorous, eccentric yet profound character who is remembered by audiences for his witty, sarcastic lines and his light-hearted, charming acting style. Martin Lloyd was a complete departure from the more serious roles on Stargate, giving Garson the opportunity to bring a breath of fresh air to the entire series. However, outside the spotlight, Willie Garson suffered a lot of silent pain. After the huge success of his role as Stanford Blatch in Sex and the City, he was largely pigeonholed into the image of the witty gay friend, making it difficult for his film career to break out. In the following years, Garson quietly raised and adopted children and did not publicly disclose any long-term romantic relationships, leading to public speculation about the isolation and loneliness he suffered. The pressure to maintain a comedic image tormented Garson, and he often felt stuck and discouraged in his acting career. Even more tragically, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, but decided to keep it a secret even from his closest friends. Garson continued to act, and thus he silently fought the disease. Willie Garson passed away on September 21, 2021, at his home in Los Angeles, ending a 57-year journey filled with laughter, but also loneliness. His net worth at the time of his death was approximately $5 million, mainly from the Sex and the City series, along with many supporting roles on television. Paul Coslo as Terok. Paul Coslo, born Manfred Kozlowski on June 27, 1944 in Germany, made his Stargate SG-1 debut in 2000 at the age of 56, playing Terok, a cold and loyal Jaffa who, although only a minor character, left his mark with his sharp eyes and deep, menacing voice befitting a ruthless henchman in the Gold System. With his extensive experience from dozens of previous villain roles, Coslo made Terok an indelible mark in the hearts of science fiction fans off screen. His life was quiet and gloomy, once remembered by audiences through the films The Omega Man, 1971, or Mr. Majestic, 1974. Paul Coslo was associated with the image of a villain, making it difficult for him to escape the stereotype, leading to a stagnant career after the 1990s. After marrying actress and screenwriter Alaire Patterson in 1997 and having a child, he focused on raising his family, but he continued to worry about his fading fame in the turbulent world of Hollywood. In his final years, Coslo quietly battled pancreatic cancer, a devastating disease that drained him both physically and emotionally. Friends recall that he kept to himself, shunning the spotlight and rarely speaking publicly about the pain he was suffering. This quiet lifestyle meant that the news of his death on January 9, 2019, at the age of 74, received little media coverage. He left behind a modest net worth of around $500,000, largely due to supporting roles over a 50-year career, along with a quiet but distinctive legacy as a classic on-screen villain with a depth and presence that few actors can achieve. Lawrence Dane as Major General Henry Bauer. Lawrence Joseph Zahab, stage name. Lawrence Dane was born on April 3, 1937 in Masson, Quebec. He entered the Stargate SG-1 universe in 2001 at the age of 63, playing Major General Henry Bauer, a powerful officer who appeared in several episodes, with a calm but dignified demeanor, reflecting a true leader. Although only a supporting character, Dane still conveyed Bauer's toughness and inner struggles amidst countless difficult military decisions, leaving a deep impression on the audience. Off-screen, Dane had a long career from Scanners 1981 to Bride of Chucky 1998, but also faced many sorrows. In the 1980s, he was rumored to have been drunk on set, damaging the professional image he had worked so hard to cultivate. His late 1995 marriage to Mary Laurel McIntosh brought him some peace, but Lawrence's health declined with age, causing considerable stress and anxiety as his acting roles dwindled. He continued to work quietly, trying his hand at directing with Heavenly Bodies 1984, then moving into film production, but his career never really took off. Friends describe Dane as a private person who found it difficult to open up, sometimes leading him to isolate himself in solitude even when surrounded by his family. Pancreatic cancer eventually claimed his life when he passed away on March 21, 2022 in Ontario, just weeks before his 85th birthday. He left behind an estimated net worth of $1 million, enough to remind audiences of a dedicated actor who gave his all to every role, big or small.